Mr. Johnson is a third-generation family farmer from Turtle Lake, North Dakota. He is also president of the National Farmers Union. NFAU was founded in 1902 to help the family farmers address profitability issues and monopolistic practices, and today has a membership of 250,000 farm and ranch families. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman and Ranking Member Graves. We are pleased to have this chance to testify on behalf of the agricultural community and specifically on behalf of our 250,000 members. National Farmers Union emerged as a leading voice for how agriculture can play a significant role in dealing with climate change a few years ago. Our policy, adopted by all of our members, supports a national mandatory carbon emission cap and trade system. We've seen the impacts of some of the climate change impacts over the years on our industry, and we think it is time that Congress dealt with this issue. We also think that it is, as you indicated, not a matter of if, but a matter of how and when that this issue gets addressed. We think it makes sense for us to use a cap-and-trade system. It is what much of the rest of the world seems to be doing. It provides flexibility that would be important for us, and hopefully it will provide an opportunity for our farmers and ranchers to participate in a meaningful way. Climate change legislation, if it is not passed, likely will result in EPA regulating. That is not something that our members would look forward to being subjected to. So we support a comprehensive legislative approach to addressing climate change. Agriculture's role. We believe that, as you heard in earlier testimony, we contribute less than about 7% of U.S. emissions in agriculture, but we have the potential to offset up to 20 to maybe 25% of all U.S. Greenhouse gas emissions. And so we stand ready to play a role in that. The income potential from using offsets will be significant. Our members understand that whatever climate change legislation is ultimately implemented, it is going to result in increased costs for fuel and fertilizer and other inputs. We also want to have an opportunity to participate on the income side by the use of agricultural offsets. The distribution of allowances is particularly important, and we think that we have some suggestions in the testimony on how those allowances can be distributed back to the sector to help mitigate some of those cost increases that I referenced just a bit ago. Providing a percentage of those overall allowances back to us would be very beneficial. The National Farmers Union currently is a member of the Chicago Climate Exchange that you referenced in your opening comments. It is, the CCX, the world's first greenhouse gas emission registry. It's operated voluntarily, but members of this CCX make legally binding voluntary commitments to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Our organization is currently the largest aggregator of agricultural credits for the CCX. We have about 5 million acres enrolled across 31 states in this country. Nearly $9.5 million has been earned by about 4,000 of our members across the country. We also believe that there needs to be a significant role for USDA in running the offset program. As you heard earlier, USDA has a lot of the technical expertise. Over 20 years of targeted climate change research has been done at USDA. We think they are well positioned to work with our farmers, both in terms of providing technical assistance and also having access to facilities. They basically have offices in virtually every county across the country. And so farmers and ranchers are used to dealing with them. We also believe that domestic offsets should be unlimited. There are a couple of reasons for that. Certainly the potential to sequester up to 20% of greenhouse gas emissions is something we don't want to overlook. Using offsets provides a mechanism for doing that. An arbitrary limit on offsets would work against sort of the idea of trying to keep this thing under some sort of cost control. The larger the market is, the more likely it is that the overall cost of the system will be reduced. And so offering unlimited offsets would help in that fashion as well. We have a number of other concerns. Just quickly, 3 topics. Additionality. We think that what you need to do in Congress is to establish a static baseline of activities. We want to make sure that we don't punish early actors. In fact, they ought to be rewarded. There are systems to deal with reversals, which is an issue that some on the other side of this issue have sometimes raised from the environmental standpoint. And we also support stackable credits. Just because a farmer implements a practice that it's good for the environment with respect to soil erosion should not mean that that person shouldn't be able to take advantage of an economic opportunity to also reduce greenhouse gas emissions. With that, Madam Chair, I would be pleased to respond to any questions when that time comes.
Thank you, Mr.